Let's talk about Sun in Leo for the year 2026. I already made a video here on the channel talking specifically about Sun in Leo and the key alignments for this season. Today, it's more about Sun in Leo and how it's aligning the rest of the sky chart at the moment. We have 11 degrees Sun in Leo, so we're almost halfway through Leo season. We are full into it, almost at the highest part of the summer, so it's time to be your goddamn self with pride, confidence, and self trust. Don't be too egotistical, don't be egomaniacal, and don't be too ashamed of yourself. It's okay to be a bit silly and sometimes make mistakes, and it's okay to feel bad. It's not okay to stay down there, especially in Leo season. It's like One Piece characters, shout out One Piece. They just laugh it off, you know what I'm saying? And they keep going through, they keep going, they keep moving, but reminding themselves that there was a mistake, something could have been better, but also sometimes you just don't know better. But now, with Sun in Leo, you have that extra confidence, you have that extra charge to actually go through mistakes and recover quickly if you're not too harsh with yourself, if you don't beat yourself too much, if you don't feel ashamed, if you don't feel personally attacked, and if you don't let the world, the 11th house, Aquarius, Saturn, the opposition of Leo, put you down. Because Leos really care about that attention. Oh, I need to receive attention. I need to look good. I need to look playful. I need to look serious. I need to look strong. I need to look like I have control. And sometimes that's the sun's own downfall. Sometimes that's how the Leo gets themselves down, and that's how they get in traps that others make for Leos, because they know they want that light, they want that attention, they want that entertainment, and they know they will show. They know they will show up. They know they will shine that light. And sometimes that's how people get Leos to feel really weird and they stop being themselves. And as a Leo and an Aquarius or an Aries and as a spirit in general, you should never stop being yourself. Just some spirits can go along with the current, others cannot go along with the current at all, and they need to be their god themselves. Leos, Aquarius, Aries, that's you that I'm talking about. And as always, leave a like and subscribe. You can get readings and personal consultations with me using the email, the link tree, and the Instagram link down below in the description. And let's get into it. Very, very special, Jupiter conjuncting the Sun. In the video I did previously, I talk a bit more into that. It's really time, it's really, but like really, it's really time to expand your confidence. It's time to expand your ego. Not too much though. It's time to expand how you see yourself and the world, how you express, and with how much confidence, how much power can you be consistent and sometimes stubborn in your beliefs, in your faith, in your principles, and your personal testimonies. It's all about that power of the sun to believe in yourself and see yourself in a certain way, being in the same area as faith, belief, and imagination, aka Jupiter. So if you're not doing that, you're missing an opportunity, and then what are you doing? You don't have a belief, you don't have a creed, or if you do, you are afraid to show that, you feel shameful. That's okay once in a while or sometimes, but not showing yourself, not talking about it, most of the times it's not okay, because it's not like you should be everywhere around everybody just talking about your personal beliefs and what you believe in and your personal testimonies and your religion and whatnot. But if you are 70% of the times in around people and in spaces that you can't, or you feel ashamed, or you are literally punished, you have made some wrong choices, or you skipped some opportunities to create spaces, groups, and associations to actually be able to do so. So you missed Saturn a little bit. You missed Capricorn and you missed Aquarius, creating the right networking and associations, going through the right limits and the right boundaries, so then you can use that Leo, that Sun, so then you can express yourself, can be yourself without feeling ashamed, without feeling punished, without feeling like you have to express just 10%. Oh, now here I can only talk about this, which is like normal in places of work, right? Around family members, things that are a bit more dealing with responsibility, and like people that you had no choice, right? Sometimes you can choose your job, sometimes you can choose your job, you can choose your family. You did it spiritually, not consciously though. That's a different video. But around your friends, right? If you're in a certain religion group where you feel like you don't really agree with those perspectives or you can't be yourself, what the hell are you doing there? You gotta be Aquarius, you gotta be Capricorn, you gotta be Aries, and a little bit of Libra to do with its style and separate from those spaces. You don't need to burn no bridges, but you are here to be yourself, remember that. It's time to start expressing yourself, and you know what? Some people, even in their imaginations, they imagine themselves talking about what they believe in, and then they stop themselves because they imagine other people talking them down in their own imagination. That's a form of hell, by the way. So make sure you're not in that space. Make sure, at least in your imaginations, you feel good. You feel that throat chakra opening up by speaking, by being your goddamn self, by believing in what you believe in a consistent, beautiful, and prideful way. And you don't need to do it like me, Aquarius S, always creating scenarios where I defend my perspectives, just believing in that. Just knowing something is okay. You don't need to make sure that if that person asks that question, you have it all on the point. Only if you have an Aquarius ass like me, but you don't need to. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for you. I'm here to do that for you. Better believe it. You know? But especially now with Jupiter conjuncting Leo, of course, subjects and topics that deal with spirituality, the unseen, occult, mysticism, tarot, astrology, dreams, and whatnot, that will come more to the light. And that will be more seen, or people want to see that more, or people want to shun that more. It depends on what side of energy they are. But in the end of the way, in the end of the day, in the end of the way, do you know the way? The world wants that to be expanded. The world is in us all together. That's why this alignment is happening right now. We want to see more of that in the real world, in us, around us. We want to see more possibilities, more explanations, because science is cool and I really like science, but they have been canceling a bit too much beliefs that are about what they can't see or what their machines can't see or what the calculations can calculate, which is okay. And people in science need to remember that they can still discover things are still yet to be discovered. And at the same time, spiritual people also have been shunning too much on the science people and being even afraid of actually explaining spirituality, astrology, and tarot, because back in the day, people would have more logical explanations about these things. And that was a bit lost along the way because people in science started to reject more spirituality, and people in spirituality started to reject more science. But also, religion was also in the way in there. It was a bit of a mess. But now, the sun coming together with Jupiter is also bringing more sense, bringing more consistency, bringing more light to those areas of spirituality, dreams, illusions, imaginations, spiritual belief systems, religion, and whatnot. So it's a great time to just be in that space, be yourself in that space. But one thing that will confuse a lot of people is religion, because religion is not spirituality. And people say that Jupiter deals with religion, which in a way it's true, but most religions, they are actually spiritual hells because they believe in a certain being that created the whole world, and they punish people, and you can do certain things, and you need to feel afraid of certain, I said most, not all, right? But that type of belief, it's not beneficial for your spirit. Yes, discipline is true, and yada yada yada, and certain religions are misinterpreted because, for example, the book of Genesis, when they say God did this or God did that, they talk about you as a spirit. In general, spirits do that in that order, in this realm, right? In other realms, it's going to be different. So it's not about a being that created all of this. So always make sure, especially with Leo in conjunction with Jupiter, Sun and Leo conjuncting Jupiter, make sure that you never believe that somebody else created you. Never believe somebody else has authority over you spiritually, because physically it's true. Like, we created that possibility through the energy of Saturn and Capricorn, right? You are contracted to follow certain rules, to follow a certain hierarchy, but that's physically, not spiritually. Spiritually, everybody is free. The only way somebody is bigger than you is because they are wiser. As a spirit, they are bigger. And if they are wiser, they'll know to not exert authority over you because they're wiser. You know, the only people that forcibly and they take pleasure in exerting authority are quote unquote demons because they have no other power, they have no wisdom, they have no real knowledge, so they see that as something good. But that's old stuff. That's Pluto in Capricorn stuff. It's Pluto in Aquarius now, Saturn in Aries now, Jupiter in Leo now. It's not about that. It's about expansion, not about contraction at the moment. So always make sure to believe in yourself and in all possibilities and never believe that somebody created you, that never believe that somebody owns you, and never believe that a creature will punish you because you think a certain way, because you drink alcohol, because you ate while the sun was up in a certain type of the year. Now you'll be punished and you don't go to the extra life or whatever. Just don't believe any of that. Just don't believe in expansion, possibilities, connection, believe in you being a creator and having the ability to travel, having the ability to create and attract, having the ability to come together with other spirits and create together, having the ability to reflect on each other because you can see yourself, so you need others to see yourself, and then they need to feed back to you so you can learn about yourself, and they need you to feed back on them so they can learn about themselves. We all come together, and I'm saying teamwork makes the dream work, and teamwork makes you work, makes you understand about yourself. And Jupiter in Leo will help you expand on your own image. But there might be the confusion where it's all about you. It's all about you seeing yourself. But like I just said, as a spirit, you can see yourself. You need others to tell you what you look like. You need others to react to you. So Jupiter in Leo, ironically, will make you depend more on others because you are expanding so that you can see that. So you need other spirits to reflect that back to you. So Jupiter in Leo can actually take you to more Aquarius places because Aquarius is just like Leo, but they need more connection, they need more associations, they need more friendship, they need more group essence, you know what I'm saying? But I already talked enough about Jupiter in Leo, conjuncting the Sun in Leo in the previous video and in this video as well. So let's see how is Sun in Leo lining up with the rest of the sky chart. We have Mercury in Cancer, 22 degrees, fatal attracting Sun in Leo. This means that our mind, the way we think, communicate, analyze, and socialize, it's more about new emotions, new feelings, and new places or new ways to feel places of privacy, comfort, healing, and generation. So our actions, our wants, and how we want to be seen or how others see us are more external. They deal more with confidence, trust, belief. They deal more with attention, entertainment, being exposed. But our minds are a bit more protective, a bit less exposed. They relate very well with Leo because Cancer is right there. But for an example, the moon rules Cancer and the sun rules Leo. So that's already a big enough difference, but they are in the same cycle. We see the sun, we see the moon every single day, just at different times of the day. Sometimes they are in the sky at the same time, but one is more noticeable than the other. So with Mercury in Cancer and Sun in Leo, it's all about expressing just enough, showing yourself just enough. Keep some parts of your mind protected and not exposed. And then when you are in spaces that are more private, more familiar, or in spaces where you want to initiate, you want to create those new feelings of comfort, familiarity, generation, principles, purpose, wisdom, and knowledge. In those places where you want to create something or deepen something, you express yourself more. You express your beliefs, your belief system, your personal testimonies in a consistent or stubborn way. And then Mercury in Cancer can help you feel or create more ideas and thoughts about the purpose and the meaning of yours and others' actions, expressions, visions, and senses of egotistical natures. Then we have Venus in Virgo, almost going their way into Libra, but it has been in Virgo since since the Sun came into Leo. That's also a fatal attraction, and it means that our relationships, the way we commit and have pleasure, is more mutable, more realistic, private, and protective. And you can see a common theme with Mercury and Venus. It's a bit more private, a bit more protective, a bit more personal, while Sun in Leo is more expressive, more out there, more about attention and entertainment. But now with Venus in Virgo, we still gonna do the Sun in Leo, we're still gonna express ourselves, we want to be seen, we want to be entertained, we want to give some entertainment, we want to pay attention, we want to receive attention, but the way we relate that, the way we and others relate that, the way we and others derive pleasure, and the way that we and others commit to things, it's more mutable and more realistic, more practical and more looking for profit. So there might be a bit of a weird feeling of you and others when there is too much light, too much attention, too much creativity, or too much energy in relationships, commitment, exchanges, or places of pleasure. But in the end of the day, Sun in Leo can bring more energy, can bring more excitement, creativity, confidence, or stubbornness to connection and commitment that perhaps was too slow, was a bit too clean, or they were trying to get things too clean. And Sun in Leo is here to remind ourselves that it doesn't need to be that clean. It doesn't need to be that organized. We need some organization and cleanliness, but not all that. Don't go too far with that. Don't, because Venus is exalted in Pisces, but falls in Virgo. So too much cleanliness, too much organization, too much practicality can kill responsibilities, pleasure, and commitment. And Sun in Leo, it's bringing more party or more ego. Be careful to those areas. After that, we have Mars in Gemini, sextiling Sun in Leo. This is an opportunity to be more passionate, motivated, angry, or frustrated in a more cold, logical, and detached way about yours and others' expressions, visions, and actions. So it's easier to get passionate but also motivated about visions, conversations, or actions that deal with creativity, spirituality, attention, and entertainment if they relate to your or others' senses of personality, uniqueness, and individuality. Or it's easier for you to get, and others as well, to get fixed, to get negatively fixed in certain conversations, in certain social issues or social structures, if they trigger certain insecurities within yourself or within the world around you, within your surroundings. So you can get too excited or too aggressive, you can get too negative, you or others around you can get too mad or too excited about conversations or things that are happening that you don't need to go that far. You don't, it might feel more personal than it actually is, and you might feel the need to act and express about those things, but it's not that deep. It's Mars in Gemini. Okay, it's not that deep. It might feel like it because Sun in Leo will bring more heaviness, will bring more attention and more energy to it. But remember, it's Mars in Gemini. So it's about being light, communicative, cold, and even detached, about passion and motivation. But don't go too light, don't go too surface level, because you might miss some creativity, you might miss some energy, you might miss some opportunities to connect in a lighter way your passions and your motivations. But make sure that you don't show too much, make sure you don't pay too much attention, and make sure you don't entertain too much aggressiveness and frustration. But it's a great alignment to talk, communicate, and associate your entertainments, your attentions, your personality, your personal interests, and your personal insecurities through communications that are about passion and frustration in a lighter and detached way. If you have consistent and spiritual and creative visions and actions. Then you have Jupiter in Leo, and we already talked about that. So next, we have Saturn in Aries retrograde right now, trining Sun in Leo. So Saturn in Aries retrograde means that we are going to the past in our minds, in our internal realm, or the past is coming to us in real life. It can be completely complete scenarios that are coming back to us, or just small patterns of repetition that we are being aware of how we as a collective of, or you as an individual created reality, structure, networking, association, limits, and boundaries derived from or because of new feelings, new passion, new frustration, new motivation, or new aggressiveness that are related or that come from personality, personal instincts, personal belief systems, personal insecurities, or personal desires slash interests. Or all of that was blocked, all of that was limited because of reality, networking, and associations, limits or boundaries. So now, with Saturn in Aries retrograde, wherever you are going through, you might be reminding yourself of moments where you were blocked and limited, or about moments when you went through and you break through blocks and limits in order to create relationships, connections, physical scenarios that support and help grow your sense of uniqueness and individuality and your personal belief systems, your personality and personal interests. Or you are going through scenarios where you failed or where you really didn't break those limits. You really didn't create that reality. You didn't create that networking and association that derives from your personal interests. Maybe you took a couple steps in the right direction back in the day. Maybe you create one or two connections or associations, but not really. So we coming back to that spaces to make sure that you really create those things, or just to remind yourself, how did you broke the limits back in the day? How did you create certain realities, routines, or patterns that involve more your spirituality and your uniqueness? And now, Sun in Leo is trying that. So we have a gift to see better, with more confidence, with more light, or more stubbornness, or more ego. That's whatever I just said. Or the other way around, we have a gift to create new limits and boundaries, new networking and association that fits or tries to be built around our ego, our fixed and consistent vision of ourselves and the world, and our fixed, consistent, or stubborn action, expression, and visions about ourselves, the world, spirituality, and creativity. Then we have Uranus in Gemini, sextiling Sun in Leo, so an opportunity to see, act, and express with more confidence, self trust, stubbornness, or ego, new changes, rebelliousness, and opposition being communicated, talked, and thought in a more logical, cold, and detached way, or an opportunity to see, act, and express with more creativity, spirituality, or stubbornness changes in that realm of communication, of networking, of fast and long distance communication. The internet, for an example. You know what I'm saying? Then we have Neptune in Aries, trining the Sun in Leo, so a gift to see or to be seen through the lenses of new feelings, new passions, new frustrations, new aggressiveness, or new desires that are being derived from, are being realized, being seen from or out of grandiose, collective, generational curses and gifts, or from deep of your subconscious. Lastly, but not least, Pluto in Aquarius retrograde opposing the Sun in Leo. Pluto in Aquarius retrograde means that we are going through past moments where we realized that the world was transforming, or we had to adapt, we had to go with the flow with how the world was transforming, and we had to go through certain power and control issues, certain tugs of war, certain I give you a little bit of space, but you give me a little bit of space as well, And it's all about transformation where you and the world can be more transparent, more unique, more individual, more rebellious, more innovative, but also having structure, connection, and also having space for yourself. And now Sun in Leo is opposing that, so you can feel like an opposition. You can feel like you and others don't have time for that. You can handle that. It's too dark, it's too cold, it's too much of a task. Or you can feel more fire, more inspiration, more creativity, more reason to do so. You can feel more capable mentally and emotionally to go through those changes. You can see the purpose, you can see why, or you can see new ways to go through that transformation and how to optimize your financial circumstance, your physical circumstance, your relationships, because you can see where the world is going. You can see why this is happening and why it makes sense because you have more of a spiritual eye. You have more of a Sharingan, Byakunga, Rinnegan, you know what I'm saying? To see the intersections, to see in between the lines of how the world is transforming. Where it might seem dark, you see the light. Where you might see there is no way back or there is no way forwards, you see the light in the end of the tunnel. You can see what is behind the tunnel because the world is transforming into a place that will allow for more uniqueness and more individuality, where organizations and big structures will care and be run by the individuals that care about individuality, uniqueness, and innovation. And now it's the growing pains. Now it's the fall of the old realm, where it's all about hierarchy, weird sexual desires in positions of power, because Mars is exalted in Capricorn, but it's all behind closed doors. Some weird shit, and even like the way people work, even the way people survive is going to change. You know what I'm saying? Because working 8 hours just to barely afford stuff, it's not enough. And even rich people, they need to sell their time away. They need to sacrifice time with their family, for an example. We all know that classical stereotype of the rich father, or maybe not so rich, but above average rich father that misses the kid's birthday because they need to go in a meeting or whatever. You know, that is not right. And that will change sooner or later. Now, with Sun in Leo, especially with Jupiter conjuncting Sun in Leo, we can see that. We can see why that needs to change. We can see how that is changing, even to the minuscule detail. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for watching. That's everything for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you feel more enlightened, and I hope you feel more trust in yourself. I wish you the best thoughts, feelings, ideas, and emotions, a whole bunch of individuality, creativity, and responsibility as well. Believe in yourself and in all possibilities. Keep it cool, keep it healthy, be your goddamn self, and you are in the power of yourself. See you on the next one.